Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Living the Life Show. I'm your host, Columbus Cody, and I know it's been a while since I've shot a show, and I'm so glad to be back on track. Just started school again, and the first few weeks of school is pretty hectic, and the schedule, it bogs you down, but back on track now. And I want to talk today about embracing the preparation process. See, we're all being prepared by God to do something. Some things are going to be great, some things are going to be small, but we're all being prepared and groomed by God to do something in our lives. What prompted this lesson, I was watching the preseason football games, and one night it just dawned on me how it must feel to be a backup quarterback. All your life you've been one of the best. You've been the great one in high school. You were the best one on your team. You got to college and you may have been the best one on your team. And then when you get to the NFL, you're the second guy, the third guy. And you got to go to practice every day, and you've got to watch film every day, but you never get to play. You're on the sideline the whole time. But it's a preparation process. See, in the process of being prepared, what we've got to learn to do is we've got to learn to embrace learning our craft as we wait, improve as we wait. A lot of times what will happen is we'll wait until our opportunity arises and then try to prepare for it. It doesn't work that way. If we're going to be successful, we need to prepare while we wait. We need to embrace this process and understand that in the process, in the end, we will be successful because we prepared for that success. We didn't wait for the opportunity to arise and then try to prepare. We were prepared all along. Abraham Lincoln said something. I love the way what he said. He says, "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I'll spend the first 4 of them sharpening my axe." If you give me 6 hours to chop down that tree, the first 4 hours I'm going to prepare for it. I'm going to get myself ready. So it's my hopes and my prayer that as you watch this video, you'll start to understand the importance of preparing yourself, getting yourself ready. Because again, you don't know when the opportunity is going to come and when it's going to arise. In Proverbs 6:6-8, Solomon writes about the ant, the smallest little insect, little tiny insect that we don't even think about. He writes about the ant and what we can learn from the ant. He says, "Go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise, which having no guide, overseer, or ruler, provideth her meat in the summer and gathereth her food in the harvest." Check out the ant. Look at the ant. Watch how that ant prepares for what's coming next. Watch how that ant stores up. Watch how that ant improves themselves while they wait for the harder times to come. The ant doesn't wait for winter before he goes out to prepare for winter. The ant starts to prepare ahead of time. So what the wisest man on the planet, the wisest man beyond Jesus Christ said, you need to watch the ant. Watch how the ant prepares for greatness. Watch how the ant prepares for a rainy day. Watch how the ant prepares for what comes next in life. And then my question becomes to us, are we preparing ourselves? Are we preparing ourselves? You see, one thing I've learned is that God is a God that prepares his people. But the preparation process can sometimes be painful. It can be tedious. It can be hard. The process it can be difficult, but the fruit from the process, the benefit of being prepared always equals success. It's always worth it to be prepared. See, God prepared David. We consider David one of the greatest kings, but David started off as a shepherd. He took care of sheep. He watched sheep, and those sheep, teaching those sheep, training those sheep, shepherding those sheep allowed him to be ready to lead God's people. God was preparing him. God prepared Nehemiah. Nehemiah was taken into captivity. He was pulled away from his home as a slave, as a captive, but he served in the vicinity of the king. He heard and he listened to things. He had an opportunity to be around the big wigs, the top dogs. He was nobody, but yet he heard and learned and fed off of. So when it was time to go home, when all the people were sent home back to their homeland, he had a connection that God could use for the next thing. God is always preparing his people. He's preparing you right now. I don't know what he's preparing you for. You got to ask him that. Ask God what he's preparing you for. Ask him. God prepared Paul. He allowed Paul, he was Saul at the time, to be taught and trained by some of the greatest minds on the planet at the time, some of the greatest Jewish minds. He learned from some of the great scholars and tutors of his day of how to be a great Jewish man. And then God took that training and used this man to go and save many, lead many to salvation, lead many that were not Jews, lead the Gentiles, the sinners, those who are not of the Jewish descent to God because of his knowledge of God. God will prepare every man and every woman that has a willing heart to be prepared. He's preparing you and he's preparing me. What he's preparing you for, I don't know. You've got to ask him that. Jesus prepared his disciples. The 3 years that he spent with his disciples was preparation time, because when he left, he wanted them to be ready to continue and carry out the mission. What is the mission? What are you and I being prepared for, just like what they were being prepared for? To be great witnesses unto the earth, to tell the world what Jesus Christ has done for them, what God wants to do in their life, and that he wants to save them. That's our duty. That's our job. That's what you've been prepared for. That's what you're being prepared for. In Luke 16:10, it says, he that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much, and he that is unjust in the least is unjust also in much. You got to prepare. Oftentimes we think that where we are in life is small or little or insignificant. What we do in life is small or tiny or insignificant, but it may be preparation for your next thing, your next great thing to come. That's the way you got to look at it. Where you are right now might not seem like much to you, but it's preparation for your next step. It's preparation for your next move. You know, in a million years, I would have never thought I'd be a teacher. Never. I didn't even like going to church when I was younger. I'd never think I'd be a Sunday school teacher. I don't know everything that God is preparing me for. But I think becoming a teacher, God wanted to prepare me so I can be a teacher of his word. And so now here I am shooting a show about a God that I love, whom I used to didn't want to go to church and learn about. Who knows what God is preparing you for? All I'm saying is embrace the process. Embrace the preparation process. What you're going through right now may be preparation for what God has next. So, since that's the case, I want you to heed these words of Paul. These are some very good words he wrote in Colossians 3:23. He says, and whatsoever ye do, do it heartily, do it with your full heart, as unto the Lord, and not unto men. Whatever you do in life, do it with all you've got. Whatever you do, do it with all you have, all the love and compassion you have for God. Do it for God, no matter what it is. If it's sweeping the floor, sweep it like it's for God. If it's vacuuming the church, vacuum it like it's for God. If it's teaching Sunday school and you got 3 students, teach them like you got 300, because it's for God. Everything you do, do it as if it's preparation for the next thing God has for you. Take advantage of every opportunity you have. Now, here's something I don't want you to forget. The greatest preparation that you can make is to prepare yourself for the coming of Jesus Christ. Prepare yourself. In Matthew 24:44, it says, therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh. The Son of Man cometh at a time you don't think about. We don't know when Jesus is going to return. So we need to be ready. We need to be prepared. Everything you go through in life is preparing you to be a righteous, holy man or woman, so that when Jesus returns, he returns for you because you live a lifestyle that he is pleased with. He's preparing you for a life in heaven. He's preparing you for a life of eternal, to live eternally with him. He's preparing you. So when Jesus returns, there won't be time to get ready. You've been being prepared all along to be ready. Be ready. Today is a day of preparation. Today. So seize this day and embrace whatever God allows in your life, because it's training and it's preparation for what comes next. So what's the best way to prepare yourself to be the best man or woman in God? Listen, learn, and live it out. Listen to the word. Learn that word. Learn means it's part of you now. It's not just something you heard, remembered, regurgitated so you could pass a test. You learn it. Learn it. It's just part of you. And then live it out. If you listen, learn, and live it out, you'll be ready. You'll be prepared for whatever comes your way. God bless you. Thank you so much for watching this show. If you have any comments, questions, ideas, concerns, shoot me an email at gottoliveright@gmail.com. That's liveright@gmail.com. And then also, there's 3 things I want you to do. 3 things I want you to do for me. I want you to like this video right down on the bottom, somewhere down there at the bottom. Like the video. I want you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Now, if this show blessed you, I want you to send it to someone else, to share it among your circle of influence so that they can start to prepare their lives as well. Okay? God bless you, and until next time, see you later from the Living the Life Show.